Welcome. I'm Astrologer Val Evans. Hope you're enjoying a nice weekend. For some people, like the president and his subordinates, it's going to probably be quite a busy weekend. Will this administration use the opportunity to pump and dump and make a big profit earlier in this week? And what is happening for Ivanka Trump as news surfaces about an assassination plot in which Iranians found the blueprints to her Miami home? What does her solar return chart say? We will look at that. And we'll also look at the USA charts and consult the cards to get some clarity about the coming week. So just going to welcome everyone. Thanks so much to members who make this show possible. We have not talked about USA predictions for some time. So hello, KK. And pulled out your Rosebud Tarot. Oh, great. That's great. Gibson, welcome. Budsman Wife, welcome. And Rand is here. Unspoken Heart Stillness, welcome. Stardust Twinkle, welcome. And Rick and Seth checked in. Great to see you. And thank you, Buckeye Clay Fan, for coming back as a member. We missed you and hope you can participate today. AZ Sunshine's here. Welcome. All right. So let's get started here. Got a few charts, very interesting. Here are my clues for maybe this week, maybe tomorrow. The Nasty Thief, a twin political shock, so maybe Castro themes this weekend, which people are already speculating. We have a female in peril, maybe death, and a hidden female, some kind of political scandal. We have a wealthy man that stops the thievery, and social media crowns the hero, which is that wealthy man. So I'll have to show you what I mean by that. Hopefully I can remember all these clues as I go through this. We've got some omens too. Don Jr. gets married. Trump's a no-show. Ivanka targeted in the latest kill plot. That's a headline. Tulsi Gabbard quits. Are you getting this Uranus theme? TSA agents are quitting. Interesting how Shakira just dropped a new song for the World Cup called Die Die. What? That is Gemini. 2 words, 2 of the same, 20 words. And I won't get into the meaning. Obviously, it doesn't mean die, but still seems like an omen to me. There's a White House shooter this weekend, which is upsets and shocks. So we're really seeing that Uranus coming in. Stephen Colbert leaves The Late Show. When you look at a solar return chart or even a job chart, you can see who's quitting through the planet Uranus. More Uranus themes. The White House East Wing rejected. We'll see how long that lasts. I'm sure there's another loophole. Republicans delay the reconciliation package funding for ICE. So everything's kind of cut right now. Interesting. So I think we're going to be seeing more Uranus types of themes, especially tomorrow, Monday, May 25th. And just a reminder, if you're interested in looking at your charts, like your hire date, that's a great chart to look at for your job, or just look at your solar return chart to see what's going on with your boss, coworkers, board of directors, upcoming projects and raises, all of that and more. You can look at the Secret Career Code and learn how it's done. It's on Amazon. Okay, so what I wanted to do is pull a chart for May 26th, 2026. And that's because this is going to be a chart for when Wall Street opens. I wanted to take a look at that one. So here it is, stock market open. And, oh, really? Yeah. Everybody's talking about ICE. So, yeah, that definitely ties in there. Tulsi is the one female. Yes. Okay. Budsman Wife. We have had it up in DC and here in Florida for his daughter. Okay. And the kite. Yeah, look at that kite. Certainly looks like there's somebody who's taking advantage of this. And it looks good. Okay, this is Trump here, Gemini. And the sun normally means the president. So we've got a grand trine here. And in that kite, it shows just so much opportunity to make money. And Uranus rules the eighth house of the stock market. Twin types of stocks. We'll probably hear some crypto news because of the Aquarius. Aquarius representing crypto. Libra represents a politician, a union, a contract because of the Pluto trining the moon. That means super famous. So Trump is doing something. It's his hopes and dreams. It's everything he's ever wanted. Okay. And who's making all of that possible? Well, this person up here. And this is a Republican, basically, saying, let's delay that vote on Iran and, just do whatever you want this weekend or whatever they're doing. So there are some interruptions, and I think that's an omen. So let's look at this. As there's a big plan happening in the Situation Room, there's a shooter that comes in. So that seems as if there's something happening where something doesn't go as planned. Oh, so we've got Queen of Wands reversed. So very interesting. Wanting to really fight super hard, but kind of losing. It's better to have this card upright. So Queen of Wands, but it could also represent something that's happening on Memorial Day. And I am getting a lot of female, kind of the female falls energy. So we could be seeing maybe a female being taken or arrested or something like that. Let's get a clarifier card for that. And then I'll get on to reading the chart. It's basically a Wall Street chart for the day after Memorial Day. Sure looks quite lucrative for Donald Trump. Ooh, the death card reversed. So something about this theme here. Everybody has a different way of reading the death card. You could read it as if a transformation is trying to take place, but it's kind of delayed right now. Now, we got this red line in here. Not only is it a red line, it's a T-square. And this is the chart when you add all the aspects. But let me do that in a second. Right now, I want to look at the T-square going through here. And Saturn is way up at the top here. Saturn square Venus and in the 12th house. This can be themes, and I'm not sure if it has to do with what's going to happen tomorrow, which is Monday. It could be tonight, could be Sunday night, but it does seem as if there could be some kind of female in trouble here and might even be arrested because the 12th house representing jail and confinement. And so she's in the background here. Nobody can see who she is or what she's doing. But that's Saturn up there in Aries. Now, Aries is also going to represent sports. So we might be seeing some sports themes, New England, Germany, but of course, the red states and the Republicans. So anyway, the whole bottom line is the 8th house, when the market opens, 9:30 a.m. on Tuesday, is going to be in Aquarius, and Uranus looks like it is a rocket. And there are several rockets. Whenever we see Gemini, when it comes to like a weather event, it's always like, let's say it's tornadoes or something. It's like 5 tornadoes blew through Indiana or something like that. It's because of the Gemini there. So in this case, it seems as if there could be a group of stocks, a group of cryptos that are really, it would seem, taking off. But there's a little problem. There's always a problem. And that is this. This is a person, this is a wealthy man. And he is saying something. It's possible it could be a government person. There seems to be a lot of wealthy people in the government these days. But this guy is stopping this, and he is really mad. Now, this could also be Netanyahu, because Taurus represents the Jewish faith and the Jews. It's also maybe industry, something that has to do with weed, or because we're hearing a lot about that right now. They're allowing weed on some airlines, as long as you don't take it to Florida or something like that. But this guy could have something to do with food too. All of this stuff is going on, and then suddenly there's an announcement about food, and this is like not so fast. And then it kind of switches a little bit for crypto. I'm not sure how exactly that could affect crypto, but it is possible. So we don't have all the aspects on here, but if we were to just look at the North Node, that's a gain. And Pisces, it is a flood, let me tell you. Big, big flood. We got Neptune here, flood. And it seems also that the Republicans are making also a big, because they need a lot of money. They need as much money as they possibly can get their hands on with the midterms coming up. And so it certainly looks like something's feeding them in their efforts to gain financially. Trump's sitting pretty up here. Uranus and the sun, let's think about this. This is also science. There could be some kind of science announcement as well. And there could also be an announcement about a new Intel, unless there already has. I don't know. I haven't looked at the news, but this is also Intel. So something really famous. They're like, you're hiring who? And it's a famous announcement of some sort. So let's look at social media, 11th house. So we're going to look where Venus is, because Venus represents Taurus, and there is social media. It's just stuck and negative. And they're kind of like, it's almost putting a pall on this gain for some reason. It's sort of like, yes, the Republicans gain, but because of social media being so negative, which is Saturn, it only takes them back. It's like 3 steps ahead and then 2 steps back. So that's kind of what I see when I'm looking at this chart. Mercury looks good trining the moon. Now there are going to be people, the public, basically moon, who are going to really make out pretty well. Also, let's just think about Geminis in general this week. If you're a Gemini, looks good for you. The same with Libra and Aquarius, the air signs. So there's a lot of swift things, it seems, that are happening for you. So look to see where that is in your chart and how that might be activating a little bit. But before I get into where the aspects are, where the crazy chart is, let's take a look at this. We've got a little bit of a stellium here in the 5th house. So that's going to be interesting on how that plays out. That can represent colleges, higher education, Hollywood, things like CBS mergers and that kind of thing. There's also some, it would seem, good news about television. When you've got this Gemini, especially Uranus and Gemini, this is a lot of war themes. It means to loot. It means to steal, poorly aspected, which I can't see in this chart. So if you look back in World War II times, and I was just watching Schindler's List yesterday, and there were these visuals of these bullies, the Nazis, coming in and taking the Jews' belongings, and piles of valuables, watches, jewelry, just huge piles. And watching that is Gemini poorly aspected. It's the thieves. And so we're getting that. And we're going to be getting that for the next 7 years or so. Whenever Gemini is poorly aspected, there's going to be that thievery. People just want to come in and take, whether it's jewelry, paintings, things that aren't theirs. It's a difficult time depending on when the transits are taking place. It's a lot to watch, definitely. I have a friend of mine who watched it a bunch of times, and I was like, I don't know if I could do that. Yeah, gold teeth jewelry. That's right, Seth. I remember you mentioned that last time. Elon is taking his company public soon. Stardust, it seems like the markets react favorably anytime there's an announcement about favorable peace talks. We'll have to see. It certainly looks like there could be a shock or two. It wouldn't surprise me if there was an attack. Rand, you said, I get feeling a Robin Hood in reverse, being a woman. Seth, do you think they're going to release the new cryptocurrency that will become the new currency for the U.S.? That is possible. That is possible. Budsman, you're going to have to let us know how you do this week. It looks pretty positive. Rip Kyle Busch, what a shock, more shocks. And that also was an omen as well. So we saw shocks. It was basically a shock to an industry that he died so young at 41. This is the AM. All right. This is what we're starting the day with kind of it's 29 degrees. It's a little bit weak here, but it doesn't matter because we're going to start moving into the Leo right away. And Leo there's going to be lots of news about Trump and the Leos. So that's when this really activates, and that kite that you were seeing is happening. However, we've got this here. And this is a square to the nodes. Anytime you see a square to the nodes for anything, it means somebody's kind of stuck, can't move. He's kind of like tied and wants to get out of things. And so the way that he's doing that, and also you could see that in these charts too about the revenge part, he isn't able to do much in certain circumstances. And he gets probably depressed and bored and maybe even in pain because of his health. But when he is able to get revenge, as petty as he can make it, it makes him feel better. For some reason, it fulfills him. And that's what keeps him going. That's what gives the beast this energy. And that's why you're seeing that so much. So you're seeing this square here to the North Node, which can show a scandal and gossip, and people are pissed, and it's all in the 11th house of social media. So a lot of people are talking about it. When you have a square to Gemini, it can also represent people are gossiping about you. So tons and tons of gossip. We could even say here, and Seth, you mentioned Elon, Uranus could be Elon right next to Trump, and they're doing something in which they're becoming very powerful. It could also have to do with some kind of technology. Everything is so outdated. The stock market itself, the government institutions. And so you've got some really engineering, entrepreneurial minded people coming in that are years, if not decades ahead of our systems. And they are definitely using it to their advantage, their knowledge. Here is the Republicans. Those are the Aries there. It does seem, now when we see Saturn opposing the moon, this could be some kind of announcement about maybe a politician that is no more. So we're going to be seeing something about that. Maybe an older politician. And then there's that T-square here too with this female. And so who's this female that we're seeing? This could be a foreign female. It's somebody who's getting themselves into some trouble, and it could be a scandal of some sort. We have kind of a wide orb with Neptune, but when you see the squares with Neptune, it's kind of like a Republican scandal. Are we seeing some kind of, not that we want scandals, we would like just a regular week. We don't want to see these things, but it does look like there's a scandal ahead with the Republicans coming up. And it's this female, 8 degrees, is a prostitute, could be, dancer, could be somebody who, female that wants revenge. And she actually might be well known in that Cancer sign there. So what are we talking about? Who is this female I'm talking about? Whoa. Well, we've got the High Priestess. So, she doesn't always have red hair, but she could have red hair. This is somebody who, usually they're spiritual people, but powerful, has a plan. Let's get a clarifier card on High Priestess. 4 of Swords. So that would explain the 12th house. That is really being in solitary confinement and not wanting to be. So wants out. So how does this lady get out? Well, you look for the blue lines. And so there it is right here. And there's somebody here who is helping this lady. This is a guy. This is the wealthy guy. So this girl has gotten herself into some trouble. And sometimes Cancer represents cleavage too. So you might be seeing that that's how they dress. She herself could be a wealthy person because of that sextile there. And this might not be a man. It could just be that the female is fighting and winning something. So it could be an Epstein victim that's coming out and gaining some kind of traction somewhere. So slightly good news, but on the whole, boy, it looks tough for this person. So this is kind of distracting, I think, a little bit this week, whatever that is. Let's take a look at this little crew down here. And we've got this T-square, and this is a big ouch here. The T-square with, I'm going to say these are 2 men. I'm going to say it's maybe Elon and Trump. And there's something where they really wish they could do something. They wanted to do this, but they couldn't. And that's what the square to South Node is. This is 2 men in despair because it's a fail. So as all of this it seems like a pretty good plan. Lots of money. A lot of people are getting rich this week, I think. But there's something that couldn't be done. And who could this be here? It could actually show that somebody is stealing from them. Is somebody stealing from Donald Trump? It looks like maybe getting hacked. Maybe somebody taking even some type of benefit from him. What's this about Trump? Oh gosh, we've got the same redhead, really. Queen of Cups and a clarifier card. So there's some kind of female element here. Wouldn't surprise me. Whoa, boy, you better watch yourself. Could be temptation, but could be a pretty difficult situation that's happening here. So much gossip. We don't like squares to Gemini. Gossip and stealing. No, we don't like that. So, and then the second house too is it's all your assets. So they're trying to somehow, they meaning Trump and maybe this either scientist, or maybe he's standing next to a scientist this week, or he's standing next to Elon. It'll be interesting to see who he's standing next to. It's going to be this Uranus type, very intelligent person. And so there are workarounds for him, the blue lines, and there's some deals that are being made. So let's get to the part that's really important, and that is this whole situation with Iran. Now, you could look at Aries as being Iran. You could also, some astrologers believe that Iran in the Middle East is Aries. I tend to look at Scorpio or Pluto. So since there's nothing really in Scorpio, I'm going to go straight to Pluto here. And yikes, it looks dangerous. Mars is squaring Pluto at exactly 5 degrees. Oh my God, this does not look good. This looks bad. This looks like an attack. So I guess if there is an attack, then that's when the buying takes place. Okay. And usually they keep doing things. Here's how you tell that there's so much Gemini. It's sort of deja vu. And you'll see that. You'll see the words deja vu in some of the headlines. It's like, it's deja vu all over again. Well, that is the Gemini. So what are we seeing? We're seeing the leaders constantly saying, oh, well, we're working out a deal. And then it doesn't happen. And then it happens again. And then it's over and over again. So we're just really getting that Gemini theme there. So I'm just going to ask a yes or no question. There's an attack. There's most definitely an attack because of Mars squaring Pluto. And it looks like it's happening out in the open. Is there some kind of attack that I'm looking at? No, it seems so. I've got the Hierophant. Okay, clarifier card there. This is, you know what? This is a religious, maybe some kind of a religious institution. Could be a mosque. I hope not. Something with religion. Clarifier card on an attack. Maybe over Memorial Weekend. 8 of Wands. So, that's more communication. So could be angry words. Hopefully that's the case. But people are getting hurt, I think. And why do I say that? Chiron. Chiron is the wounds. So we're seeing that. And so it's most definitely going to be volatile. It would not surprise me if there is something where there very well could be people shorting things. Will the stock market open down on Tuesday because of an attack? Let's get right to it. 9 of Pentacles reversed. Okay. Not a good card, but it is a no card. Um, Five of Swords. It's just going to give people a lot of headaches. So it'll be interesting. Definitely, though, if I were to put my money on something, of course, this is for entertainment purposes only, I would say that there's going to be some crypto news. And it's going to be good for a lot of people. But it's really interesting, this politician here. Politician looks like they're really having a hard time here. We've got a bunch of things happening. We've got Jupiter, and it is squaring Mars and Chiron. These are a lot of wounds, and this is pretty nasty here. This is something foreign. Yeah, it's a foreign plan. Yep, it is a foreign plan. So this chart will show us what happened after the fact, I think. But also remember, this is AM. This is going to be PM. Let's see what happens in the afternoon. Well, we're getting into the Virgo Libra time frame. So we're going to have Mercury ruling the chart. It's basically going to give us a profile of what's happening. And on one hand, it looks pretty ugly. It looks like thievery here. Looks like super bad. But somebody's getting very famous. It is a group here. And the moon is in the second house. So yeah, it's 50-50 here. We've got the thief, but then we also have maybe a television person. It could be maybe in the financial industry, revealing something. So let's look at what we're going to do is we're going to look at the 8th house, which is basically the stock market. All right. Other people's money. And so we're going to look and see where Mars is. Mars is here. And there is a square to Pluto. So it's really being affected by possibly an attack or some bombs. But people know. There's still people making money. People know. It's interesting how Cancer is construction, it's homes. So it's possible maybe somebody's buying some kind of, I don't know, something very cheap. Maybe, I don't know, something cheap. What could it be? Materials, cheap materials somewhere. And so that's the blue lines. So anyway, bottom line is a lot of volatility. And I think a major event could be in the minds of the leadership right now. So there it is, that T square. This is somebody who, this is Gemini here. So very critical, very, it's almost like the person can't even speak for some reason. But this is the Black Moon Lilith here. This is kind of the nefarious part of the afternoon chart. And it really affects I almost think it's another twin event. So it's just a carbon copy. I don't like to say kids, but I think everybody's talking about kids. And I don't want that to be the case, but it's going to jolt, I think. Okay, so let's look at Ivanka Trump's soul return chart. She just found out that she has this, somebody was about to attack her based on getting the blueprints to her billionaire bunker home, the beautiful Miami home that she shares with her husband Jared and her family. And so you could see how Uranus is here, and this is a shock. And what's down here? These are some pretty nefarious people because we've got Black Moon Lilith in here. And this is the shock. So I had to rectify her chart. Not sure about the exact timing, but let's see, what are we? We're in May 21st, May 24th right now. So we're about to move into Taurus for her. And so that's going to mean that Venus is activating. So it looks pretty difficult here. Jupiter, this has to do with her husband, and he could be in pain about something. It might have something to do with his health. So more personal sides, more of a personal side there. But then Uranus comes in. This is right before the end of June. This is an opposition with some very bad people. They're terrorists, basically. And, it happens to everybody. Rich, beautiful, you can't have it all. And in Ivanka's case, she's got that father, but then she's got to worry about terrorists knowing the blueprint. Like, what is she going to do? Is she going to move? Let's ask. Is Ivanka, after all of this horrible news about somebody wanting to attack her in her home, does this mean she's going to move? She just moved, didn't she? Oh my gosh. Got the devil reversed. So looks like a no. Devil reverse can be okay. Not negative. Means that it's almost like stopping the devil. Yeah, Budman. I was going to say that. I know. I'd be surprised if she hasn't already left Florida. Yeah, CNN is reporting an Iranian link to the assassination attempt, allegedly. Okay, thanks, Jen. JR, such a good question. Will it be discovered that our tax dollars are being misappropriated or stolen by a government official? So let's ask that. Something about a government official. There's a bunch that on both sides, Democrats and Republicans, there's a lot of corruption here. And it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But that's a good question. Is it going to be, I think it's already been discovered actually, but let's talk about the tax dollars and whether something was misappropriated by a government official. Whoa, it could be a female. Queen of Pentacles. Oh yeah, we're seeing a lot. We're seeing a lot of Queen of Pentacles lately. Getting wealthy, feeding their social media profiles, looking like they've got the life. And everybody's jealous, which is so Scorpio. Also represents taxes. So 6 of Swords. So, well, it looks as if it's kind of stuck there. It's bad news, I think, for her. I really do. But yeah, I think we're going to be seeing some more people coming out when it comes to the taxes. And that's not good. That's not good when people have less faith in the system. They're not going to pay their taxes. So thanks, JR. Hello, Angel. Welcome. So glad you could join us and help me moderate. Yeah. And okay, I'm just going to catch up here. Michelle, welcome. Nearly midnight here in scorching Sussex, England. Wishing you a magical week ahead. Wow. Well, stay hydrated. Hopefully you've got air conditioning. Melanie, welcome. Rand, Ukraine, Kiev was just hit by Russia. This also could be in play too. Yeah. You got the Fool. And you had Budsman, 3 of Wands and Knight of Wands flew out. Okay. Yeah, I saw that too. And one of the reasons I wanted to do the show. So I'm glad you mentioned this. Lots of folks found it very suspicious that Trump stayed at the White House this weekend. Did they know something was coming? And also, of course, this is where we hear about that pizza, right? Everybody ordering pizza tonight. And then a lot of government officials from the rumor canceled their plans this weekend. Hegseth was seen going to the White House, I think right before the assassination attempt. Or at least I guess you could say, the gunfire on the White House lawn there. So there's definitely something up. So Rand, Scorpio energy in play with square of Mars to Pluto. And don't forget, Trump is age of Aquarius. Pluto, president, as Pluto moved back into Aquarius at the same time he was inaugurated back in the White House. Yes. True. Could be an internet attack. Yeah, because of the Aquarius there. I am definitely seeing a blackout, but I think that's going to be more in the July timeframe, which probably not a good idea to travel. That's right, Stardust, the woman they call the human printer who follows Trump around. I know. It's just every day there's some kind of strange headline, isn't there? Yeah. Aries could be China or Taiwan. Yeah. JR, is the redhead in his inner circle? That's a great question. Yeah, we're getting some redheads. So who could this be? Now, Tulsi wasn't a redhead. Somebody's coming forward here. Is this redhead? If it's a redhead, this woman, is she in Trump's circle? And is it going to play out this week? Two of Cups. Whoa. Let's get a clarifier on that one. It's a partnership. Partnership with somebody, maybe a female, and it looks like she's having a tough week. Whoa. Tower. Yeah. So more things I think are coming out that we don't know about. All right. Okay, so let's get on here. Yeah, we are in the Sag time frame. So coming into Capricorn here. So Jupiter sitting next to Trump was in this T-square. A lot of difficulty this past month. Getting rejected, getting stopped to some extent. Now we're going to be in the Saturn period of Trump's solar return chart. So it's always an interesting thing when you look at your solar return chart and there's Capricorn there. Capricorn, you're going to look at the Lord of Capricorn, which is Saturn. And if any time Saturn is in a good aspect, it's very good, you're going to have a good month. But if it is in a square, and it is going to show some difficulty here. It will show reasons to be depressed. And in this case, it looks like the Republicans are coming in and they're like, can't do that. Sorry, bud. Can't do it. Now, trying to think, Jupiter is the second house. So they are trying to put a lid on something here. And it is coming in. It looks bad as far as, well, this is USA solar return chart. But still, this is the Trump energy, and it's being activated here. I almost want to say that because of the T-square, it shows that Republicans are being stopped as well. So there's something that is just, it's like a gridlock here with regard to making certain, I don't know, making coin. People are just fighting it too hard in, let's see. Yeah, in the government. However, Saturn is also in this mini grand trine here, and this is very big for crypto. So it seems as if, I almost want to say, this is a big one. Let me ask the cards. It looks like crypto is having a big moment here. And it's going to be in June. Hold on one second. Excuse me. Oh, God, I couldn't hit the mute button fast enough. Oh, well. Maybe that's a sign that it's true. Like crypto is going crazy, I think. And that's this aspect here. It's right in June and it just goes nuts. But there are elements here that are challenging where it just makes it kind of volatile. Let's look at crypto for June here. Yeah, 7 of Cups. There's so much. It's hard to choose. Something's popping here. It's the Sun reversed. All of that, Aries, this is a fight. This is a huge fight that's coming in here. And as that fight is happening, people are just, the crypto is just going nuts. That's what I'm seeing there. It's amazing. The Saturn Neptune here could be from the past. It's almost like, look at Venus here in Gemini. This is the twin. So we might see a run up of a crypto this in this next month, June. Just like, oh, remember back when Bitcoin did blah, blah, blah. It's happening again. Jupiter not looking so good here. And I think it represents the internet. The more money these people are making, the worse it gets. There's a lot of bad news for veterans. Even that omen of Alex Preddy and being a nurse for the Veterans Affairs. There's so much that is upsetting about veterans. And here, we are got this Memorial Day holiday. Protections are for veterans are not there, and all of this around this time frame. Could there be some kind of revenge of the veterans? Thank you, Gibson. Yeah, cryptocurrency, the energy from 2020 could be the conjunction at Christmas Eve in 2020. That's possible. Thanks, Angel. Thanks, Rick. Are the vets getting their revenge? Not that we want that. We don't want it to be taken so far. We just want the best for the vets. We want them to have their programs, want them to be supported and taken care of. Well, what's this mean? What are the vets going to do in the next few months? Oh, gosh. Three of Swords. Yeah. Just in pain. Is there anything that's going to be an improvement for the vets? Let's hope it's a transformation. I got one more. Queen of Wands, being able to fight and win. So we're thinking of those veterans and praying for them and thanking them for their service. Oh, and one more thing. If you're interested in a reading, I've got a Memorial Day sale. So you can go, if you're a member, you can go and get a check-in at a much discounted rate. If you've never had a reading before, you could just go to astrologywithval.as.me and get quite a big discount. Hope you can take advantage of it. I'll see you guys tomorrow.